I'm Gabriel Zavala, and the first question is, tell me about yourself. I'm an international student here in Temple. I'm originally from Caracas, which is the capital of Venezuela, which is a country in South America that borders with both Colombia and Brazil. I moved to the States around 3 years ago when I was 16, about to turn 16 at least. I moved originally to Florida, to Bradenton, which is a small town near Tampa. I moved there to a boarding school, so I moved by myself without my parents. I lived there for 2 years. It was actually a sports academy, so I was both studying and practicing soccer. In my case, even though we had different sports for different people. In there, I finished both my junior and my senior high school year. And then I graduated. When I graduated, I came to Philadelphia. I moved to Temple to study sports management. In here, I get both sports management specific courses and general business courses. And Temple is a very good school. Temple is top 10 in undergraduate programs for sports management and top 5% business school in the world. So it's very well run in both the areas that I'm currently studying. I think it's a great fit for me. I like it a lot. I like the city life. I got to meet amazing people here, and it helped me because it's a very diverse school, which I like being an international student myself. And coming from an academy that was international, where I had in a class of 200 for my graduation, we had around 50 nationalities, which is a lot. So I've been able to interact with people from different backgrounds. I also play soccer in my sports academy. In my team, we had around 18 to 20 players, and we had around 7 to 8 nationalities. This was people that I used to train with every day in a daily basis from Monday to Friday. People that I went in to travel with because we will play in different cities around Florida, like Miami, Orlando. So I think I've experienced a lot from people with different backgrounds. So I learned a lot of different cultures. So I think I bring a good mix of not only my own culture, which is different from here in the States, but also cultures and from different people that come from different parts of the world, and that helped me be a more like all around person. Second question is to tell you about a big accomplishment in my life, and for me that'll have to be back in the time when I first moved to the States because it was challenging because I had to move because of different political and social turmoil back in my home country in Venezuela at the time, and I saw that I didn't have a good future staying there in the country. So I thought about different options, different ways to move out. My first option was the States, but my first option wasn't to move by myself. I wanted to move originally with my mother, which is whom I live. My parents are separated, so it was a matter of coming with her and my little brother. But she refuses. She didn't want to leave the country. She was too attached to it, unlike my family, who's still there. So my second option was to move with my older brother, who at the time lived here in the States. He lived by the time had a 2 bedroom apartment in Jacksonville, so he had room for me. And we talked about it. He was on board with the idea, but then a relative advised my dad not to allow us to do that because my older brother, who's only 3 years older than me, had only been by himself by a month or two, so it was too much of a responsibility for him to take care of me. But I still wanted to leave. So I talked to my dad. We both decided that he would send me to a boarding school. And this is a big accomplishment for me because it was hard at the time. Because I came from a background where like my family was all very close together. We were always around. We were always supporting each other. I was also in the same school from grade school to my 10th grade, which is the last grade I completed back home. And I always had everything I wanted. My parents were always there for me, and I relied on them for a lot of stuff. So for me to move to a different country and start to live by myself and have to do even all the little things was pretty hard. Was pretty tough at the time. Also because it wasn't my first choice, I had to see my two like top choices, my two top plans get knocked down, and now I had to move by myself to a different country without no one. With my closest relative was my brother, who also moved. He moved from Jacksonville to Oklahoma, so now we weren't even in the same state. So I was pretty much by myself, and it was hard for me at the time because I was in a sports academy, so I had training in the morning. In the afternoon, I had classes, so my schedule was always packed. I didn't have my parents. I was in a different place with people from different cultures, and I had to deal with a lot of new stuff. But it was good for me because it helped me grow. It helped me realize that I needed to be more mature. And I moved from being a guy that relied on his parents and friends for everything to be an independent person. It helped me grow. It helped me realize that I had to challenge myself and get out of my comfort zone to grow as a person, just in overall. And it was a good experience because I got friends from all around the world because it was an international academy. So I gained a lot of experience. I became a more independent person. Um, I think it was a good overall experience. I got adapted to it. I think so. On my second year, I actually captained my soccer team to win the Bradenton Cup, which was like a local tournament. I also got awarded with most improved, which it was for me. It was very good because it was very satisfactory for me. I made a lot of friends. I graduated with honors, and I captained my team to win trophies. So it was an overall amazing experience for me because I got to meet amazing people that I would have never met if I stayed back. So it was hard, but nowadays I think that was the best decision I ever took, and I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with the results too. So the last question is to tell about something that I learned in class, and I found this class very helpful, specifically certain topics like strategic planning, because I never considered myself much of a planner. I was in a certain leadership position as being the captain of my soccer team, but planning wasn't one of my jobs. It was more of my coach's job. And just in my overall life, I was never a planner. I was more of a go with the flow kind of person, and it helped me realize that you need to being planner is a good trait to have because even besides business, just in general, it's very good. As a student, for example, I can relate to having set specific goals, like keeping a certain GPA or getting above certain letter grade in specific courses, and it helps you realize that you need to have a clear vision of who you want to be and what you want to do with yourself and how to get to that vision by setting goals, by setting your missions, by having values, things that you value the most, not only in yourself but the people who surround you. And another subject that I found very interesting was company cultures. I think that it is something that is there and that you cannot see. For me specifically, one of my biggest fears would be to be always in a boring job from 8 to 5, doing always the same thing. I helped me realize that it doesn't have to be that way, and that you need to think very well where you want to go, because it goes beyond if the company is big or successful, but if you fit in there, and how company culture is again something that you cannot see, but it's very very important and it helps build successful businesses and successful relationships. Um, Another thing with this class did for me was that it helped me realize that you need to read a lot, specifically with the Wall Street Journal. You need to know what's going around you. You need to be a very well informed person because things that happen in other industries may influence what your industry goes through. Um, Stuff like new policies that maybe apply, like Nike with the tax border, how Nike produces his shoes and overall most of his apparel abroad, and how will that influence his stock prices, his product prices, and how will that change, in my case, as sports management major, how that influence my industry since Nimes is one of the biggest providers of sports apparel for not only general people but also pro teams, how that increase prices or not. You also have to think about, for example, Uber trying to develop a self-driving car. So how will that change the way people transport, which in my industry is very important because sports relies a lot on tourism, and also people need to get to places, events, games. So how will that impact our economy in general and our industry separately in a very indirect or direct way?